Brought to you by...
Hello, friends. Here on ETF, topical relevance is not something that I've ever cared to maintain. It has always been my intention to keep this place sacred for film. I don't discuss political or religious views, nor do I even follow them. Hell, I don't even always stay current on the latest releases, like most of my fellow film reviewers and critics. However, in the midst of this global pandemic, some new information has come to light that honestly has someone like me, who has dedicated their waking life to film and all of its facets, genuinely scared. Therefore, an opportunity has arisen for me to introduce a segment that I've been working on for some time. A new show that aims to focus on the very thing that YouTubers are labeled for: influence. As contradictory as it sounds, my aim has never been to change the way you think about films. It has only been to open a door to a new way of thinking about them and inviting you to draw your own conclusions based on my thoughts and opinions, while at the same time shining light onto films that are often overlooked and forgotten. This new segment is a bit different. In a way, I am hoping to influence you, so that maybe, just maybe, together we can save the very institutions that inspired our love for cinema to begin with. Recently, due to the attempts at isolating people into smaller groups and avoiding mass gatherings to lessen the spread of this pandemic, businesses and social events across the country have begun shutting their doors, including many of our local theaters who are closing down until further notice. As a result of this, many studios have pushed the releases of their larger blockbuster films, while companies like Disney have begun to shift their films that were still running strong on screens across the world to streaming and VOD. This is an attempt to allow people access to these films throughout the global crisis. Obviously, this is a smart business move on their part. However, it is one that could easily threaten the very existence of movie theaters as we know it. Now, I'll be the first to say that this is probably me thinking the worst possible scenario for film, and in the grand scheme of the situation, it's small potatoes. But it's also a discussion that I feel needs to be had. While I don't want to believe that studios would ever consider closing the doors on wide theatrical releases, you have to admit that it is a large possibility. From a business standpoint, this situation presents the perfect testing ground for a shift over to simultaneous worldwide distribution directly to the comfort of our own homes. Most small budget and independent films have already made this move, making the jump directly to VOD and streaming services before their physical home video release. So what's to say that the hope isn't to do the same all around? As I said, I'm not a religious person. In fact, film is the one non-human entity that I truly believe in. It dates me a bit, but video stores and cinemas have always been like my churches. They've always been two places that I could go to find comfort and bliss. While they haven't completely died, I've basically already lost one of them. The movie theater, to me, is a magical place for those of us who wish to be immersed in a story that isn't our own, and whisked into another world to experience the trials and tribulations of fictional characters. It's an experience that is unique every time, shared only by those particular people who gather within that theater at that showing. I don't know about all of you, but I'm personally not ready to give that up. I know that I'm not the only person who is concerned about this, and personally, I hope that we're all worrying over nothing. I highly doubt that we will see an end to big screen releases of blockbuster films like the long-running Marvel franchises and the Fast and the Furious series, for quite some time at least. It doesn't make sense to put so much capital into a production of films like those and then cut away one of the largest sources of payout. Everyone is always going to rush out to see those films and then grab up their copies once it hits streaming and DVD. But I do feel that this move may very well make a heavily negative impact for smaller productions, and could lead to the diminishment of opportunity for young and independent filmmakers to have their films reach the height of their potential. As a filmmaker myself, I feel I can speak for all of us when I say that seeing your film on the big screen is kind of the culmination of the dream. As it stands, I obviously don't know what the future holds for cinema, and for the most part, I do my best not to dwell on the more frightening possibilities that lie ahead. While the cinematic landscape may be changing around us, in my mind and in my heart, the things and places that ignited the spark of imagination within me will ultimately last forever. For now, that's all from me, friends. I would love to know what you all think of this possibility. Am I absolutely crazy, or is there genuinely something to fear here? And while we're at it, let me know what you think about this new segment. The entire idea behind it is to provide a place to talk about the landscape of cinema itself. Do I hope to influence you? I'll be honest, a little. But like I do with all films, I mainly just hope to at least get you thinking about the ideas. From there, you're free to form your own thoughts and opinions. These are just mine.